I thought I'd do a video explaining a situation that took place around about this time last year. I received a slap from a Church of England school, and this was in response to an interview that I'd done with the BBC regarding gender ideology materials that were being taught to my children. Now, I'd never heard of a SLAPP before until I got one, so I'll give you the definition of what it means. It's a strategic lawsuit against public participation, lawsuits intended to silence critics by making them pay the costs of a legal defence. So they're not particularly nice. I'll read a portion of the letter that was written by the BBC's legal department and sent to the school solicitors. We are aware that this letter was sent in response to our journalists, which asked your client to provide clarity of their position to the questions posed in order to ensure fair and accurate reporting. As such, we were surprised to receive your substantial letter asking for confirmation that the offending statements will not be published, including a threat of injunction. We have considered your client's position and do not agree that the proposed broadcast would meet the threshold of the test for serious harm. Our journalists' investigation included an interview with Mrs. Emma Hardy, a former parent and employee of the school. Mrs. Hardy clearly set out her position in this interview, which amounted to her honest opinion regarding the material available to her children and how what she regarded as a gender narrative was implemented by teachers at the school. You assert in your letter that your client's reputation would be impacted to the degree that this would have significant impact financially. Now, I've heard that this has been happening quite a lot, that this is the claim that schools are making, that it's reputational damage. We respectfully disagree. The threshold for this test for a commercial body is high, and in light of the proposed reporting, we do not consider this to be a risk. We have further been informed that you have sent correspondence threatening legal action directly to Mrs. Emma Hardy. This includes a follow-up letter informing Mrs. Hardy that she is to abide by the undertakings you have demanded, including an extremely broad undertaking which would prevent her from making entirely unrelated criticisms. We are concerned that this conduct seeks to silence Mrs. Hardy and imposes restrictions on her Article 10 rights to freedom of expression. We therefore take this opportunity to remind you of your obligations set out by the Solicitors Regulation Authority. Lawyers can have a legitimate role in encouraging journalists and others to make sure that what is published is legal and accurate, yet this should never extend to abusing the litigation process, bringing meritless claims or threatening individuals with legal action with the sole objective of discouraging free speech. So I'll leave it there. I have a strong feeling that these sorts of letters are being sent to a number of parents and whistleblowers and teachers who are trying to speak out and expose the sorts of materials that have been taught in our schools. If you are wanting to speak out and expose this sort of information that you might have found, I'd highly recommend that you seek the guidance and support and join the Free Speech Union. And hopefully that this video will shed some light on the sorts of underhand tactics that are currently going on in the UK.